Welcome back. More now on Thomas Frank, who says he is feeling the trust of the Tottenham board. That is despite reports they're considering sacking him. It comes after Spurs were beaten at home by West Ham, which resulted in the club looking at alternatives for Frank.
I've just been, how can you say, feeling the trust along the way. I've done that. I've said that every press meeting that there's backing and support. I had lunch with Nick and Vinay and Johan today, so all good. I know it's part of the, the media circus, and the only focus I have is to do everything I can for us to win tomorrow against Dortmund.
Did they give you any clarity or any assurances that if it doesn't go the way you want tomorrow night, about what the future holds?
I think it's a nice question. I haven't heard any situation like that in football where I say, hey mate, if you win tomorrow, no problem. If you lose tomorrow, no problem. We had a good conversation about life and football, the future of the club, everything normal like you do. Of course, there's a little bit, stormy weather out there. I just think it's an extremely good sign, because normally people are running away if there's bad news or bad weather coming. They're normally not coming in and being friendly for lunch.
Look, no two ways about it. I mean, he's a manager under pressure at the moment. But what do you make of his comments there, saying it's just a bit of a media circus that's going on around me? Yeah, but when there's a media circus, there's a lot of things that happen. The media, the fans, they always play a big part, and media don't usually get things wrong, that's for sure. So it can be a media circus. Evidently, you got to win football matches. They're not winning football matches at the moment. The pressure's on. You saw a few, banners in the crowd on the weekend, which are never nice, and the fans singing, you're going to get sacked and stuff. That's not nice, because I like Thomas Frank. I think he's a good manager, but they've been nowhere near good enough. Tottenham. They're playing against a West Ham team who've been in not good form. Credit West Ham, they put on a good show, but it's not nowhere near good enough for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and the results they're getting at the moment. And you can see there's a lot of discontent. And you can see even when Romero's scoring a goal on the weekend, Pedro Porro's going up to the fans, and and it just looks like there's a lot of discontent between the players and the fans at the moment. And that doesn't evidently look good at the end of the day on Thomas Frank. He's even said it loads of times, and I've said it many times. He's come out and he's tried to challenge the Tottenham fans. Do not challenge the Tottenham Hotspur fans, because at the end of the day, there's only one winner, and that is the fans. The fans pay their hard-earned money, and he knows it's a business. At the end of the day, you don't get results, you're evidently going to lose your job, and he's under huge pressure. They have a big week. They need to get a result against Dortmund. I know they've got maybe a few players out, but they still need to get a result. Yeah. You heard me talking to Jamie Carragher earlier, and I was saying, does it feel like it's a case of when and not if that Thomas Frank leaves his role at Spurs? And Jamie Carragher said, yeah, I think, unfortunately, yeah, it does feel like that. Is that how you feel? Yeah, it is how I feel. I don't want it to be like that, because I like Thomas Frank and I think he's good, but it's sometimes like you're at a club like Brentford and you do ever so well at Brentford, and then everyone's saying he deserves his opportunity at a bigger club, and it is a bigger club, Tottenham, and they expect that, and you go to a bigger club, and it's just been difficult for him. Yeah, he has had a few injuries. Probably his two best players in Maddison and Kulusevski have not played any football this season, not been on the pitch, and the Kulusevski one, he's been out for ages. We know Maddison's got a serious knee injury, so he was going to be out for the season, but they're two key players. But they've brought players in, and they should be doing a lot better. You worry about their discipline sometimes. I look at Tottenham's discipline, and players sending off and stuff like that. It's just disappointing, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with the manager. And if you don't get results, you're going to lose your job, and then they're going to look to another manager. But I just think at the moment, things are not going well for Thomas Frank. And when you have fans calling for your head, at the end of the day, when the hierarchy are under pressure, they take the heat off themselves, and then they end up saying, you know what, we're going to move the manager on and bring another manager. And regardless of how much people love him above, if the results are not good enough and the fans are calling for Thomas Frank, you're going to lose your job. I mean, look, this is a club you know really well. It's a club you've followed for many, many years. Can you look at this now and say, was this the right fit? Thomas Frank at Spurs? No, but at the start, I did think it was the right fit. I thought he deserves it. Thomas Frank is a good manager. Because it doesn't work out at Tottenham, he doesn't become a bad manager overnight. It's just the results have not been good enough. And in the Premier League and in football in general, it's about results, and if you don't get the results, pressure will mount on you. I do think it was the right appointment for it. When I
saw him go in there, I thought it'd be exciting. But then I realised after watching 5 or 6 games, Tottenham fans ain't gonna like this style of football, because his style of football is like reliant on long throws, and it's not the football, the sexy football, I should say, that they like their teams to play. But sometimes you might not have the players to be able to play that style of football and get the results. So he was getting the results at the start of the season. Their away record was fantastic. Now the home record, that's what's strange. It's been nowhere near good enough. It feels like there's pressure on these players to deliver at home, and they're not delivering at the moment. So evidently, when you're not getting results, the players sign these big 4, 5, 6-year contracts. They don't get pushed away. It's the manager that loses his job.
You mentioned some of the injuries a minute ago. I mean, you picked up on Kulusevski and James Maddison. They're long-term injuries.
Yeah,
obviously, they've got others around that as well, but maybe injuries as well to some of their leaders in the team.
Yeah, definitely. They are leaders. James Maddison was vice-captain last year. They've had it. Mickey van der Ven, I think, has been outstanding. Romero's a good player, but watch his discipline. He's the captain. He has to lead by example as well. And I just feel there's been loads of falling outs. When you look at, I look at the goalkeeper, Vicario. On the weekend, he makes a mistake for the goal. He's there complaining at the referee. It's not a foul. They're making a lot of big mistakes and they're getting punished. And instead of sometimes as players, you put your hand up, I feel every player is trying to blame other people or blame the referees or stuff like that. Nowhere near good enough. And as a group of players, they should hold their hand up and say, we are not doing good enough. And evidently, when we're not doing good enough, that mounts the pressure on Thomas Frank, and then he'll lose his job. We as a group of players have to look at ourselves in the mirror. I've been in it before with many dressing rooms where I think, it's the manager's fault. Well, sometimes it's not the manager's fault. He's doing the best he can. It's down to us as a group of players to go across that white line and deliver. And they're not delivering at the moment. They've been nowhere near good enough. I like Tottenham. I've got a lot of time for everyone at that football club. But at the moment, they are doing nowhere near good enough. And the pressure will keep mounting on Thomas Frank until they get... It just feels like Ruben Amorim time. He could get 2 or 3 good results and then lose 3 or 4, and then he's under pressure again. So it's a difficult one.
I mean, if Spurs were to make a change, and it looks like they are looking at options at the moment, who do they replace him with?
Emma, I was speaking to someone before we came on there. Who is available at the moment to come and get? There's no one available unless it's an interim from now to the end of the season. There ain't no manager I can think available. When these top managers will come available, will be in the summer. You can think off the top of your head who's out of work. Xavi Alonso. Would Xavi Alonso go to Tottenham now towards the end of the season? The Tottenham fans would be jumping for joy about it, because I'm looking at him thinking he's out of... I don't think he'll go there from now to the end of the season. I think he'll wait to the summer. And that's how I think Tottenham should. I'm not saying obviously they've got a difficult decision to make, because Thomas Frank's under pressure, he's not getting results, and they want to change the fans. But it'll be interesting to see who's available and who the fans want there, because there's not a lot of managers available at this moment in time. Yeah, Xavi's available, the ex-Barcelona player, he's a top now, obviously, but will he want that job? It's still a big football club, Tottenham, but at the moment they're not playing well. But yeah, watch this space. I hope Peter can turn it around. I do like him as an individual, Thomas Frank, but results have been not good enough.
Yeah, something that certainly hasn't been good enough is their home form. Let's bring Dave in, because we know just how important it is to win in front of your own fans, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when they're paying all that money to watch the team. Clinton mentioned it there. Another home game for Thomas Frank tomorrow as Spurs take on Borussia Dortmund. But the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium has not been a happy place in recent months. Of all Spurs managers since 2008, none of them actually have a lower than 50% home win rate, except for Thomas Frank, whose win percentage at home is just 18.2%. Christian Stellini, Ange Postecoglou, Andre Villas-Boas are above him. Tim Sherwood, Sky Sports' very own, is at the top of the list there. And if you look at overall points per game as well, compared to all other Spurs managers in the Premier League, only Ozzy Ardiles, Juan de Ramos, Jacques Santini have a worse record than Thomas Frank with 1.23 points per game.
Anything that mentions Tim Sherwood is good for us, isn't it?
Yeah, he could be in charge, couldn't he? You could give it to Tim, interim manager, from now to the end of the season. We're not trying to get you sacked, Thomas Frank. We're just saying if the job became available. Right. Tim's record, brilliant.